In this third not sure sign of a work of God's Spirit, Edward wants to talk about and address something that was happening, which was some people who previously didn't talk about religion much, began to talk about religion much more. And for many people, they would look at someone who didn't talk about religion much and now wants to talk about it a lot, and they would say, this definitely means that God has saved this person. Look how much they want to talk about religion. And others would say, well, I'm not so sure. And Edward says, well, this again is not a sure sign. It could really go either way. It could be an indicator that someone really has had a work of God's Spirit in their life. If their heart, if their understanding now understands the gospel in ways that they hadn't before, they understand the glory of God more than they had before, then perhaps that person who understands God's glory in this significant way, this person might have their heart warm to the Lord, and then, as Edward says, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Of course, he's quoting scripture there, but what he's getting at is it's possible that, yes, this person who loves God will want to talk about the glory of God and the glory of the gospel and their love for God. And these, if this is the way that the person is talking about religion more regularly, then this may be an indicator. And at the same time, it's possible that people who begin to talk about religion more often are doing it not as a result of God doing a special work in their life, but just because they like to talk about religion. And again, talking about religion a lot only indicates that you like religion, but it actually doesn't indicate that you love God. And that, of course, is key, as Edwards understands the Bible. So we might see the same sort of thing today. We might see people who are happy to talk about what's going on in their church. Our church has this many people in it, and we baptized this many people this past year. We planted this many churches, or perhaps we've sent out this many missionaries. And so they love to talk about the details of the ministry, and yet they never really get around to talking about their own love for God and how they are understanding His glory in a greater way, or how their own sense of sin makes them want to confess their sin and love their Savior and be holy like God is holy. And so we sometimes can see that some people are, again, happy to talk about religion, but not necessarily is this indicating that they have a great love for God. Similarly, Edwards would talk about how some folks had followed Jesus around in His ministry. They would sometimes skip meals in order to continue to hear Jesus teach. They even at one time followed Him out into the desert. And Jesus did mighty miracles, and people loved the miracles, and people even liked the teaching. They said there hasn't been a teacher like Him before, and so they were really excited about Jesus. And yet in time, many of these same people, when the novelty of it wore off, or for some other reason, they just went their own way, and they didn't remain followers of Jesus Christ. And for Edwards, this is telling. It just says, well, yeah, some people do talk about religion, but again, it might not be because it's a true work of God's Spirit. And so he wanted us to say this might be a good indicator, but it might not be. The last thing that Edwards then would say is that many people, especially coming out of the revival, would say, wasn't that service great? This is the experience I had in that revival. And they would want to talk about the religious experience, but again, it would always seem to the conversation would just dwell around the experience itself, the event itself. And it always stopped short of what Edwards expected to see by way of talking about a love for the Lord Himself and a delight in who God is. And so for him, he again said that these are not sure signs.